the name. We're not afraid to hit that play. To protect his legacy from his ex-wife, we speak out for Elvis, for what is right. So we're gonna keep making those videos. That's what we
Good evening, Elvis Photos, if you're watching this in the evening when I released it, or good morning or good afternoon if you're watching it tomorrow. So on the Elvis and Priscilla leaves her love behind in Germany to spend Christmas with Elvis, January 27-25. Give us a heart. Hey, thank you for all of y'all that are our subscribers and members, by the way, and those of you leaving super thanks. It's greatly appreciated. Just wanted to throw that out and let y'all know that. At Lillian Parks, so sad, she really pushed him to his death. And we're talking about Sofia Coppola's Priscilla movie that she's commented on there, which I did watch, obviously, eventually. I didn't want to give Priscilla any money, so I waited until it was absolutely free. And it was horrible. It was a boring movie. Painted Elvis as very controlling, angry, and depressive 100% of the time. I don't think there was a positive, happy moment in there. And she also signed off on Elvis throwing a chair at her head. Now, essentially, or it's right next to her. Now, in the book that she wrote, she said he was frustrated and threw a chair at the wall opposite of her, which is nowhere near her. And so they took the creative liberties, obviously, to smear Elvis. And that's what Lisa was upset about, and why Lisa said, had written a letter or an email to Sofia Coppola and said, please do not release this. If you do, I'll have to come out against you and my mother. Because Priscilla was the executive producer. She signed off on everything. Every bit of part of that Priscilla movie she signed off on. At Callie M63, says, hi, thank you for everything you do, Joe. Really enjoying the Lucy book. I personally think Elvis never wanted to... Oh, don't tell me I didn't hit the read more. I must have missed that. I'm sorry. I'll have to go back and look at that and see if I can... Oh, here we go. No, that's not it. That's somebody else's comment. I'm sorry. So, this is Joe. Can anyone please explain how Lucy rented a horse in Memphis after her modeling gig at the Memphis Zoo and riding up a mountain? She never told Elvis she was there, and then she claims Lancelot appeared out of nowhere. Then rode to the top of the mountain, laid in the flowers, made love, and stared at twinkling lights. Desiree was born 9 months later. So, first off, the information is wrong. She was born in 58, so you either misheard or misread. As for a mountain, there was never a mountain mentioned in the book. It was always just a hill. There was a small hill there. And of course, you're saying, no, there's no mountains in Memphis, but I live in Tennessee, and I've been to Memphis a lot of times. There's definitely hills all around. And as for there being only renting horses at the fairgrounds, but they were not allowed off premises. What I found, which I haven't posted, and I'm going to post in the wrap-up video when we all get done, is I found pictures of people riding horses there at the zoo in the 50s. So I'm still looking to see if possibly maybe there was a place that rented horses outside of the zoo, because in the book, Lucy said she walked back towards the entrance to the zoo. Now, whether that might have been where the horses were at inside the zoo, or whether there was some rental stuff going on outside or across the street, I've been looking. I've been looking at the commercial appeal. I spent a lot of time looking, and I did find pictures, at least finally, of the 50s of people riding horses at the zoo. So that may be very well exactly how it occurred, or there could be another explanation. But as for the whole mountains thing, that was never said. And as for you saying 9 months later in 54, Desiree was born, that's not correct. You probably just misheard. They met again, and in 57 made love, and Desiree was born in 58. That's what her birth certificate states. Thank you for your comment, though. Jane May 7181 says, I live in Central Kentucky and I love the song. I'm very glad you do, and it's nice to see you on the channel. Sandra Braun says about Desiree's strong, square, masculine jawline. A child's genes gets genes from more than just her parents. That's very true. Traces of DNA come from grandparents. Now, while this comment is loading, I can tell you that if you look at Elvis Presley's pictures from 55, 56, you'll see that his jaw looked different than it did in later years, right? Just as we know his nose looked different than it did in later years. Now, whether he grew into his jaw or whatever like that, but his jaw certainly looked like he was kind of more square, more flat looking in the early days than later on. So I don't know. I mean, I think we've just discovered in recent years that Elvis had a nose job, and he paid for Priscilla, I think, to have a nose job, and for some other people to have work done on their faces. So, continuing reading the mystery of Desiree's square jaw can be seen in Vernon and Vester. It is the male Presley masculine square jaw, and can also be seen in grandfather Jesse D. Presley as well. Thank you. That's a very good comment. And then there's some links for people to read. What I really love about this community is that everybody's kind of working together to try to prove or disprove. I don't mind some things that are to the contrary, as long as it's something that stands up to scrutiny. And even if it's opinion, you can put your opinions down. You don't have to believe this, but it would be nice to know that I don't believe it because of this. And then it's something that's real, not like I don't believe it's this because Lisa was the only daughter of Elvis. It doesn't really say why you believe it, except you just want to believe that Elvis only had one child, when there could be multiple children that are out there. Now, do I know for certain? I do not know for certain about anything, and nobody does know for certain except for the DNA. But you can see that there are similarities in Desiree and Elvis. Now, whether that convinces you or not, I don't know. That's why it's really all up to whether you believe. It's like the Bible in a sense. Blessed is he who's not seen yet still believes. The whole premise of Christianity is based upon faith. Because we don't have, Jesus is not walking in my living room right now and saying, hey, put your finger in my side. He's not appearing to us that way. So it's faith. We have to have faith that what was put out there, what was written, what the historical records claim, and what we feel is all the other thing too, what we believe. And not to, like I said, not to completely compare this to Christianity or any other religion. But don't we claim that we have to see something to believe it? Yet we do believe in God, right? A lot of people do. I mean, the majority of people do. Some of you don't, and that's fine. That's your own personal journey, whether you believe or not. And I've got my own personal experiences and beliefs and journeys that I've taken in my life, and they've been very eye-opening to me. But at the same time, I'm not requiring a DNA test from Jesus. At Cynthia Phillips, keep the songs coming, love them. You are talented. Thank you for sharing the books. Wow, this book has so many details. I appreciate you, Cynthia. Appreciate you coming on here and leaving that comment. It does, and to me, it reads very honest. Yes, it's flowery, as Desiree Matera says, very romantic. But this is a woman writing about love and romance, and why would it not be flowery, detailed, romantic? And she doesn't portray Elvis as in a negative light. She portrays him with love. Also, that that he was frustrated, as he should have been. And I think it's a great read. And I think that people should read it all the way through before believing that it's not true completely, or believing that it's true completely. Read it all the way through. Then you got to take a look at what potential evidence there is. Look at Desiree Matera's character, whether he's still standing by the book decades later, because of a promise he made to Lucy and a promise he made to Desiree that he would stand up for them. He believed it. He still believes it. So you got that too, not just Lucy's word, but the research that he did, and of course the research that I'm doing and other subscribers on the channel are doing, and just looking to make sure that, hey, some of the stuff that maybe didn't match up somewhat, like the whole idea that there was no horses at the zoo in Memphis. I looked and I couldn't find anything else either, and I finally found some photographic evidence of it, and I thought, oh wow, I didn't think I was going to find it. I started looking for evidence that maybe there was a horse rental place outside of the zoo, like right next to it. I have to go back and read that part to everybody. I almost feel like it said that they rode up against the outline fence of the zoo. Now, I didn't say inside or outside. This is Lucy's recollections. So yeah, I don't know. And then Sandra Braun, 7375, she's talking about Snowbird. When Derry brought it up, it kind of threw me for a loop. I think I mentioned the name Snowbird because in the book, that's one of the songs that he said that he told Lucy, listen to it, I recorded it for you. And when I read the first verse, I thought, well, this is kind of happy sounding. And then Derry was like, no. This is not happy. And so Sandra says Snowbird's a bit more appropriate for Elvis and Lucy than you covered. It's not a happy song at all. It's about someone who's been cheated on. If Elvis was emoting, he might be thinking about Priscilla cheating on him, since it affected him so much, and wishes for better, asking to fly away with a snowbird, thinking of Lucy, who was never a problem to him, presumably to escape the pain of a lover who betrayed him, and wondering if he should go back to that person, which he likely had to consider a time or two before coming to some conclusion, realizing he might experience heartache again. Some key phrases: the one I love forever is untrue, and if I could, you know that I would fly away with you. He'll only break my heart again should I decide to stay. She'll only break my heart again should I decide to stay. So little snowbird, take me with you when you go to that land of gentle breezes where the peaceful waters flow. And yes, she almost died in snow, so little snowbird, how appropriate a term for her, really. But Elvis was good at telling women he was sending messages through songs. And as Sandra said, he said that to Priscilla, that he was recording songs that were messages to her. I believe Priscilla said it in Elvis and Me that he would send her records from stateside that indicated his feelings for her. Romantic Elvis and Big Fibber. So, and I got no doubt that Elvis had feelings for Priscilla and that he was very enamored with her. Whether that's because of her individualness, whether that's because Grant trained her, or whether Priscilla reminded him of Lucy like Elvis told Lucy, I don't know, but I'm sure he did tell Priscilla, hey, I recorded this song for you, and maybe it was a romantic song. I don't know. And then you got the Lucy, saying that Elvis said, I recorded these songs for you. So Elvis and Priscilla leaves her love behind in Germany to spend Christmas with Elvis. Janet D6686 says, I am so enjoying listening to reading these books. Well, I appreciate that, Janice. Thank you so much. I have especially been enjoying the Are You Lonesome Tonight, which I read some time ago and was really convinced it was true. I could never figure out why it wasn't more accepted. The estate. Priscilla was in charge of Graceland. She controlled the narrative with everything, all the way up until really the last decade or so. Elvis and Lucy. Linda Thompson comes into Elvis's life. Lucy hides in despair. When Elvis Presley went to Washington, D.C., he was with Sonny West and Jerry Schilling. Now, that's correct, SDHS Cross Country, but he went to D.C. first. Then he flew to L.A., and then he flew back to D.C. That's the actual history of it. And yeah, Linda said the first year she was with Elvis Presley, they were together every day. So I guess we can take a look at the Lucy book. Linda, that would have been, the fall of 72 or winter of 71, winter of 71. I think I always get that mixed up a little bit. We'll have to take a look at the history of that. Lisa Jones says, I agree with you, Joe. I think Priscilla made that up because she didn't want everyone to know that he just didn't want anything to do with her. Probably because she was messing around on him, sorry. I think she always resented Elvis for not wanting her more. That's a good point. She... And wouldn't that kind of disappoint any woman? Let's be honest about that. You want somebody, you throw yourself at them, and they don't want you that way. For whatever reason. Elvis and Lucy. Charlie Hodge mentions Desiree. Elvis upset that Priscilla's suing again for more money. Mary Sale said, I wish the card was in the book. That with the signature would help prove the story. Ask Desiree if she has it. I will. I'll ask her what she still has of her mother's. And, there may be, Derry talked about, hey, he wanted to write a book on Desiree. And that hasn't happened. I'm wondering, Desiree could have something in the works to tell her life story and continue this. I don't know. And I have yet to talk to Desiree on the phone. She got sick again, which I understand. I've been sick a couple of times. So I will ask her about that. And we'll see what she wants to. This is not something Desiree asked me to do. This is not something Derry asked me to do. I started this series just because I started it. I bought the book in a bundle of other books, and I remembered I read it back in the day, and I remembered that I believed it, and I didn't remember all the story and hardly any of it. So getting to read it again after maybe 30 years has been great. The Pablo 3030. My mom remembers the day that Elvis died. Maybe Pablo, I don't know. We lived in London, England. I was 1 year old. There was a terrible storm. I watched Sonny West recounting of it He also said it was a dreary, blustery day and it wasn't forecasted. It was supposed to be a nice day. Yes, I mean, I think they talked about after the funeral, it rained everywhere in the world for 3 days or something. I'd like to look at that. That'd be an incredible story, wouldn't it be? If it truly rained everywhere. Uh, Bobblehead Joe, I love the way you read books. Made it to the very end. Thanks, user Lynn Girl, or Lion Girl. Well, you have to tell me. I think it's LYN Girl, maybe Lion Girl. Um, I cute emojis, by the way. My brother John used to leave me a lot of emojis like that. Rest in peace. Passed away a few years ago of cancer. In fact, I lost two brothers to cancer. Um, almost back to back, really within 3 months. At Gail Calderon, 5229, baptism certificates are not legal documents anymore. Citing my setup for school, I took his and I was told it's not a legal document. I had to go get his legal birth certificate, I think is what Gail was going to say. And I think what I asked Gail was this the 80s? 90s? 2000s? 2010s? We're in the 2020s right now. So this would have been in the 60s. I really think at a Catholic school, I think that's where it was that she went to school at. I don't think they required anything besides the baptismal certificate, I think. But I could be wrong. Derry seems to think that's true as well. And why we're talking about that is because she asked Desiree to go by Romaine Greer, Rome Greer, the stepdad's name. Certainly makes things much more easier. You don't have questions. I mean, gosh, if she registered as a Presley, right? Desiree Presley or Rome Presley, that would everybody be asking questions. So I see why it would have been kept a secret from everybody. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate everybody making comments here. Please comment more. And tomorrow we'll read some more Elvis and Lucy, the Are You Lonesome Tonight book. We're going to read probably my Faith of Elvis, some more Child Bride, and My Army Days with Elvis. I think that's what I'm going to read tomorrow. And they may not be as long. I might not be able to do 30, 40 minutes tomorrow, but I'll get some reading in for y'all. And yeah, much love. Have a wonderful night, or if you're watching this tomorrow, a great day. Rare Elvis Photos, TCB, TLC.